Welcome back, Mavericks. Thanks for hitting the channel. Hope you like and subscribe to our content. Maybe consider becoming a Patreon to help curate the channel and share bike love worldwide. Tonight, we're going to talk about e-bikes, because for the longest time, I've not been a proponent. In fact, I was the guy who wore this shirt. I used to think they didn't have a whole lot of value, more of a purist, a little maybe snobby about it, to be honest. But I've had a change of heart over the last several years. Owning a bike shop, seeing folks come in of all kinds of income strata, age level, physical ability, made me realize there's a lot of use for e-bikes. In fact, you might have seen where I used an electronic motor to power the snowplow bike in version 2 last year, which really helps get through the ice and the snow, pushing all that weight, not just relying on my legs. But maybe you're unsure. Maybe you're looking for reasons to understand why an e-bike might be right for you. Well, tonight, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of them. Let's start. Number 1, let's talk about recovering from injury or just getting back on bikes for the first time in a long time. Maybe you don't have the physical strength to be able to go up and down hills, deal with steep inclines, or even the length of your commute to start with. An e-bike can certainly help you with that. Secondly, you might be much older. Something you want to stay healthy, but again, pushing that bike around long distances or over hills, depending on where you live and how the terrain is, might be difficult. An e-bike can assist with that. Third, you might be bringing your kids places, school, shops, etc. We talk a lot on this channel about replacing most of your local drives with a bicycle. So many drives, the majority of drives used in America in particular, are 3 miles or less in a car. And we've been encouraging folks for years to utilize a bicycle instead. In this case, an e-bike might be helpful. Children are not light, and groceries, and Home Depot runs, and department store runs. They may not be light either. All of these can be done with a bike and assisted with an e-bike to make the load a little easier and the distance a little more tolerable. You also might have a long commute. One of the first ways I saw the value of an e-bike was in people who lived more than 20 or 30 miles from work. What that allows you to do is make that commute at a pace that doesn't mean you're spending 4 hours on the bike commuting and 8 hours at work. A lot of people don't have that kind of time in their day. An e-bike can allow you to get there more quickly, shorten the commute time to a reasonable amount, and potentially make you less sweaty, depending on what your shower facilities are like at your work or office building. Next, let's talk about the types of e-bikes that are out there. There's your standard basic ones like you see here, which are just step-through bikes that allow you to commute, get back and forth to work, carry groceries home from the grocery store, pick up your kids, etc. There are purpose-built bikes, like these cargo bikes here, that allow you to carry larger amounts of cargo. Most cargo bikes today come with a motor, because there's a lot of weight there. If you're an ice cream vendor or a pedicab or just taking your kids back and forth to school, these things take up weight, and e-bikes help manage that weight and make the commute tolerable for most people, particularly of those who are newer into cycling or less fit. Now, if you are considering an e-bike, a couple safety tips I'd like to recommend, being that I commute every day and see both e-bikes and regular bikes and walkers and runners and joggers and people on electronic skateboards, etc., all mingling together on roads and paths, is first, speed. Your e-bike can go pretty fast. Most of them are pedal assist. The pedal assist e-bike means that you have to do some pedaling before the motor kicks in and helps you. And that's what most people will end up buying, because they want the health. They don't want to just sit there like they're on a motorcycle, but they also want the assist when they're on hills or carrying loads. Another type of e-bikes are throttle-based. So the throttle is regardless of whether or not you're pedaling. And those are also very fast.
Woo, 38!
Most of the time faster than pedal assist bikes. Why this is important is when you're approaching people on your bike, when you're passing, when you're at intersections, you come up very quickly on folks. And many of them, as we've discussed on this channel, are walkers, runners, other bicyclists or whatever, aren't necessarily experienced in what to do when they hear a bell, or if they decide they're a jogger and they want to turn around and go the other way on the trail. Many times, I can attest to this personally, they don't look, they just do. And if you're flying up on an e-bike doing 20, 25, 30 miles an hour, it could be ugly. So just keep speed in mind when you're on your bike, and don't really open up the throttle unless there's no one around. Stopping power is important. You probably won't find a modern e-bike without disc brakes, and that is for a reason. Again, they get going really fast and you have to stop them quickly. Animals run out on the road, kids, joggers, runners, other bicyclists, whatever the obstruction, they can happen quickly. And you need good brakes to make sure you can stop that e-bike. Most of them use regenerative braking, which is nice because it lets your battery last a little longer. Most of them will get you through a 50-mile commute without a problem. They range in price from less than $1,000 if you build it yourself, all the way up to several $1,000s for a higher end, lighter weight, reduced size e-bike. We recommend typically to our folks, our customers, to just come in and try out what makes sense for the kind of way you're going to use it. If you're mostly going to use it to commute and to pick up groceries and do local runs and take your kids to school, you don't need a flashy $10,000 bike. You just don't. You need something that makes sense. In many cases, a step-through bike is really good, like even the rental bikes you see here, because they're easy to get on and off of, whether you're doing it regularly or in an emergency. You can wear all kinds of clothes with them, including dresses, because they're step-throughs. You don't have to worry about anything being over a bar. They're very functional. Truthfully, when it comes right down to it, what I had to realize is it doesn't matter whether it's an electronic bike or a regular bike. The key is you're on a bike. I don't care if you're riding an e-bike, or I don't care if you're riding a regular bike. I'm just happy that you're on a bike. Not only because I'm a bike shop owner, but because, as you've seen on this channel for 2 years now, spreading bike love means getting more people on bicycles. And that's not going to be the people who already own bicycles like myself. What's helpful to the environment, to your health, and to your community is getting everyday people on bicycles. And the e-bike is a really good way to do that for a lot of folks who are entering bicycles after maybe being off of them since they were kids, or getting back into their health, or having long commutes. It's reducing a barrier to entry for being part of the bicycling community again. And in the end, that helps all the other pieces. Less environmental damage, happier people, more connected to your world, your environment, and your neighborhood. Bicycles enable that. And e-bikes are part of that list. You can find them used, you can find them new at shops like mine. Just get on the bike. Get on the bike, put the car in the garage, get out there in the weather, in the sunshine, with your kids, picking up your groceries, take your dog places to the park, whatever. Destination rides, another thing we talk about on this channel. Great for e-bikes. You got a longer ride into a town center or a main street where you like to grab a coffee or a bite to eat with friends and family. Go on your bike. All right, so whether you're on an e-bike or a regular bike, come on, let's ride. And don't forget to pick up your SCHWAG from this episode or any of our episodes at the Maverick Store.